Hello students, in this video we are basically going to discuss the syllabus of Telangana movement and state formation. The intention behind this video is to give you a comprehensive picture of the entire syllabus, how I am going to proceed with the syllabus, what will be the key areas that we are going to focus, what will be my approach and how is it going to help for your exam, and where all can we have tests, how do we conduct tests and all that. Now let's begin with understanding the Telangana movement and state formation syllabus. What I'll do is I'll first give you my approach towards it, my way of delivering the subject, because see, when you look at your entire syllabus, I don't know how many of you have read the syllabus, but if you have read the syllabus, there's a lot of repetition in the syllabus, there's a lot of overlap in the syllabus. So to counter this overlap and repetition, what I basically do is I give you a chronology of the events that happened with respect to Telangana movement and state formation, and I approach the syllabus in the same way. So I'll first tell you the chronology, where do we start, how do we start, and what do we read in it. See, I will start with discussing about the origin of the word Mulkey, because the most important aspect of our state movement and formation, the core issue was the Mulkey issue. We talk about Mulkey rights, we talk about the problems of Mulkeys and all that. So the center pillar of the entire Telangana state movement is Mulkey. So let's start by understanding what does Mulkey mean, where do we begin with, where did this word originate, and how is it related to the Telangana agitation. So in the first 15-20 minutes of the first class, I'm going to explain you about the origin of Mulkey. You'll be surprised to know that Mulkey is a term that was basically used by the Muslims who migrated to the Deccan Plateau. Initially, Mulkey was attributed to it was used only by the Muslims. Eventually, from community based, it becomes territory based. So all that I'm going to explain in the origin of Mulkey. Then we have to understand the Mulkey issue during the Nizam rule. A major turn in the Mulkey issue. From where did this issue become big? From where did it become the basis which eventually led to a mass movement? It is during the Nizam rule. During the Nizam rule, what was the status of Mulkey issue? What were the developments that happened in Mulkey issue? And how did these developments impact the entire issue and Telangana region as a whole is what we are going to discuss next. So in the Nizam rule, we basically start from 1853 and we discussed till 1947. We are going to cover three important phases here. The first phase is when Salajang I becomes the Prime Minister of Hyderabad state, what all changes happen with respect to the Mulkey issue. Then we talk about the 6th Nizam and the changes he brings in, and the 7th Nizam and the changes. So 1853 to 1947 is what we discuss with regard to Mulkeys, basically because till 1853 we did not have a lot of non-Mulkey presence in Hyderabad state. What I mean to say is there were not many employees, there were very negligible handful people who were working under the state who were non-Mulkeys. So the influx of non-Mulkeys, the increase of non-Mulkeys in state administration happened only during the Salajang I period. That is the reason why we begin with Salajang I period. We discuss this period in three phases. One was Salajang I period, then we talk about the 6th Nizam and then the 7th Nizam. This phase is important. From here you can get questions. Wherever I discuss anything, I'm going to tell you how question will be asked on this and what could be the approach towards this area. So this would be important. You have to know what all changes Salajang I did, what all changes the 6th Nizam. 6th Nizam was the first person to issue a firmana to define the term Mulkey. So that firmana becomes very important for you. The 7th Nizam established the Osmania University for Commoners, which was the turning point in the Mulkey movement because it took the whole issue to another level. So we need to know about the Osmania University, when it was established, who recommended the establishment, the basis for the university and all that. I'm going to cover it because it is a backgrounder and it is equally important for you for culture as well. Once we discuss about this, the next phase that we are going to discuss would be 1948. Join India after Hyderabad is integrated with India to 1952. This phase we see three governments ruling the Hyderabad state. The first is called as the military government, The second is called as the civilian garment, also known as the velodi garment. So civilian garment would be the second one. And the third one is the popular garment. Popular garment as in the garment which was elected by the people of Hyderabad state, because we had elections in Hyderabad state in 1952. Now these three garments, we need to know basic information about them. For example, military garment was headed by whom? Who assisted J.N. Chowdhury in administrating Hyderabad state? What were the changes that took place during the military rule? And what was the impact of these changes on Hyderabad state, the Mulkey issue especially. Then we talk about why the military garment was removed. Military garment was actually removed, and in its place civilian garment was appointed. Why did this happen? What is the committee related to it is what we're going to discuss. Then we have to discuss about the civilian garment, who was in the garment, as in who headed it, who were assisting MK Velodi in administering Hyderabad state. What changes did the MK Velodi government bring in? How did it impact the Hyderabad state and the Mulkey issue? Then we talk about the popular government. Here, the 1952 elections are very, very important. You need to know a lot of facts related to the elections, including the constituencies of important persons like Burgula Ramakrishna Rao Garu, KB Rangareddy Garu, Mari Chenna Reddy Garu and all that. You need to know their constituencies. You need to know how many seats Communist Party, which was banned at that point of time. So it did not contest as Communist Party, it contested as PDF. So how many seats did PDF win? How many seats did Congress win? Now why these dynamics are important is these election dynamics are important because they help us understand why a party took a particular stand when Telangana was getting integrated into the Andhra state. The Hyderabad state was getting integrated into the Andhra state. Why a party took a particular stand? What was their stand? So why did CPI support the integration? Why was Nehru against it? What happened? What was done in order to convince Nehru? To understand all these things, it is very important to understand the 1952 election result. This is what we are going to discuss next. After we finish with this, we are going to then discuss the 1952 agitation, the first Mulkey movement that took place in Hyderabad state. It's a very important movement. Students were the torchbearers of this movement because it was a movement organized and led by the students, and it is considerably successful because what were the demands of the movement were finally met. But the movement is very short and sweet because it just happened in 3 months, July to September. We covered the movement, so it's not a very elaborate movement like 1969 movement, but we need to know what are the causes, what is the trigger. There is a difference in cause and trigger. There could be many causes for an incident, but the trigger will be only one. Trigger is that point where the agitation actually begins. So we need to know the causes, the trigger, the people associated, what were the events in the agitation, what was the outcome of the agitation. Now events would include the city college incident, first meeting, first firing, and all that. And various committees that were appointed. Justice Jagan Mohan Reddy committee is associated with the 1952 agitation. So we need to know those details. Now once we finish with the 1952 agitation, the next thing that we are going to discuss would be the 1952 to 1956 period, the developments that took place between 1952 to 1956. I am going to begin with Potti Sriramulu's fast because that eventually resulted in the appointment of the first States Reorganization Commission. We have to extensively discuss the States Reorganization Commission, its recommendations, especially with respect to Andhra state and Hyderabad state. Once we finish with the SRC, we need to know about what were the opinions of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on SRC recommendations, opinion on formation of states in general, and opinion specifically related to Andhra state. Then we have to discuss about what paved way to the formation of Vishal Andhra, because State Reorganization Commission was dead against the formation of Vishal Andhra. It was not in favor of Vishal Andhra. It said that we cannot form it immediately. We need to give Telangana time to crystallize its opinion. And it said that you can consider this after 5-6 years. But despite this recommendation, Vishal Andhra was formed. So what were the various events that led to the formation of Vishal Andhra? This would be the next and the last thing that we are going to discuss would be the Gentleman's Agreement. Gentleman's Agreement is a very important agreement because it was a promise made by the Andhra leaders to the Telangana leaders to address the fears that Telangana people had because of the formation of the impact of the formation of Vishal Andhra. They had certain fears. So to address that, the gentleman's agreement was signed. Gentleman's agreement is a very historic event as far as Telangana movement is concerned, because violation of this agreement eventually resulted in a massive movement which we call as the 1969 agitation or the Jai Telangana movement. So 1952 to 1956 we discuss all this. After this, the next thing that we are going to discuss would be obviously be the 1969 agitation. Please remember that the 1969 agitation is very, very, very lengthy. It took place for nearly 3 years, because I'm going to start my timeline in 1968 and end it in 1971. So we are going to discuss it in a chronological order. I'll tell you the sequence. I'll first discuss the causes of the 1969 agitation, the trigger, what exactly paved way for the commencement of the agitation. Then we have to discuss the various incidents related to the agitation. It could be Ravindranath's fast, it could be Reddy College meeting, there will be Vivekavardhani meeting, and all. There are a number of events related to the 1969 agitation. There will be a lot of interlinking between the events, because one event would result in the other event. For example, if there was a firing, the next day you come across a protest or a band. So the firing has led to the protest. You also should know the martyrs who died in which protest is also important. So I'm going to comprehensively cover all these things. The questions here will be based on the events. The questions will be based on dates and observed as. Very commonly asked question in all competitive exams of Telangana is Telangana Women's Day. When was Telangana Women's Day observed during the 1969 agitation? So like this questions will be asked. 1969 agitation will take time, because it is very lengthy, as I said, and what I usually do is I explain and dictate notes. I intend to do the same thing here, because I believe that if you listen to the class and you write down, it is easy to remember, given that you have a lot of facts in this subject. There are too many facts. So listen to when I'm explaining, then note it down when I'm dictating. It will be easier for you. So this would be the 1969 agitation. Then we come to 1972. The events that happened during this period, the most important being the Jai Andhra movement, which eventually resulted in the declaration of the 6-point formula by the central government. 6-point formula was a point of no return as far as Telangana was concerned, because the safeguards that were guaranteed to Telangana became very, very weak. In fact, they were removed. Okay, so we are going to discuss the Jai Andhra movement only to the extent of its linkage with the Telangana movement, and then we are going to discuss about the 6-point formula, the impact of the 6-point formula. How was the 6-point formula implemented? The constitutional amendment, the presidential orders. This presidential order, which was issued on the basis of the 6-point formula, formed the basis for the Telangana agitation in the last phase, especially KCR's fast in 2009. So it is connected to the last phase. I'm going to tell you the connections as well, and we are also going to discuss several court cases to understand the whole background, how it went ahead. We have to discuss the several court cases that were filed in favor against the local reservation in Telangana region. So 1972-73, the Jai Andhra movement would come. After this, what we are going to discuss is, we are going to discuss all the rulers, the governments that ruled Andhra Pradesh between 1970 and 1990. We begin with Jalagam Vengalrao government. What measures did he take, and how did it impact the Telangana region? Now, when you look in your syllabus, they talk about suppression of Telangana culture, dialect, and so on. So, explaining the rule of these people, I'm going to tell you the measures that they've taken and how it led to the suppression of the identity of Telangana. So, we are going to discuss Jalagam Vengalrao, followed by Marri Chenna Reddy. Then we are going to discuss about the Telugu Desam party, how it evolved, how did it win the 1982 elections, what were the major policies that were adopted by NT Rama Rao, and how did it affect the Telangana region altogether. That we would discuss from 1970 to 1990. During this period, what was the impact of Andhra domination in various spheres? Also, I'm going to explain, like in the sphere of culture, heritage, in the sphere of business, real estate, press, and so on. All that would also come. I'll give you a small example. See, for example, people who have studied the have completed the schooling before 2014 would relate to what I'm talking about. You remember in school when we studied history, in the history textbooks, we did not read majorly about the Satavahanas and the Kakatiyas, the way we read about Vijayanagara Empire. What happened was, Vijayanagara Empire undoubtedly was a great rule, but it was glorified to a large extent. The same glorification was not accorded to Satavahanas, who are believed to have ruled for nearly 300 to 400 years. The same is attributed to Kakatiyas, who have ruled us for nearly 300 years. So basically, the kind of importance that was given to Vijayanagara Empire, which was not really ruling the Telangana part of Andhra Pradesh, that importance was never given to Kakatiyas or the Satavahanas. This importance is important because this will keep the heritage alive. You're passing on, you're giving the knowledge of your heritage to your future generations by including that in the school textbooks. But unfortunately, due credit was not given to Satavahanas and Kakatiyas when compared to the Vijayanagara. Same, likewise, there are a lot of historical monuments, especially those constructed by the Kakatiyas, but none of them were really preserved the way the historical monuments in the Andhra region were preserved. So like this, I'm going to give you a number of points where you find the domination of Andhras in various spheres. It could be real estate, it could be culture, it could be heritage, literature, art, architecture. In all these spheres, there has been a lot of domination. Now, after this, we are going to discuss about the 1990s decade, basically the LPG reforms and how it had impacted Telangana region. LPG reforms were predominantly introduced and carried forward in Andhra Pradesh by Chandrababu Naidu. So we are going to discuss about what all he did to implement these reforms and what was the impact of these reforms on Telangana region. In the impact, the two most important concerns that we have to discuss would be, one was the farmers' distress, the second is the weavers' distress. How did it result to the increase in farmer suicides? What were the problems associated with the farmers? So we are going to discuss all that in LPG reforms. Then the next thing that we are going to discuss after this is the 1980s to 2000. This period was basically used by various organizations and persons to awaken the Telangana people. So basically this period I would call as the mobilization period, where the efforts were made to mobilize the people of Telangana to start an agitation for a separate state. So what happened during this period? During this period, there were several individuals, organizations that worked towards creating awareness in the masses on why you need a separate Telangana state. So we are going to discuss about individuals and their actions. We are going to discuss about organizations, their actions in creating awareness. This period is marked with a lot of facts. We come across individuals, like for example, you had one individual who started Padayatra from Hyderabad to Delhi. Then we had an organization which did a commendable job in publishing a lot of literature related to Telangana area. It is called as Telangana Information Trust. Then there were student organizations which were formed and they undertook a lot of events to create awareness. All these things we are going to discuss from 1980 to 2000. After this, the last part of your syllabus in my chronological order would be 2001 to 2014. This would be pretty simple for all of us because this is where we start with the formation of TRS to the creation of Telangana state, inauguration of Telangana state on 2nd June 2014. The entire chronological order would include the various committees, most importantly Sri Krishna committee. I'm going to discuss the Sri Krishna committee in detail. And 2nd June 2014, the basis for which is the AP Reorganization Act. We are also going to discuss the AP Reorganization Act in detail to the extent of what can be asked in your exam. So with this I complete my chronology, but I'm not done here with your syllabus yet. There are two important areas that I have to cover after this. One would be Naxalism. I'm going to take up Naxalism towards the end because I cannot really fit it into the chronological order. In this, I'm going to first explain what is Naxalism, where did it evolve, why did it evolve, what are the causes, how did it spread from Bengal, because Naxalism evolved in Bengal. How did it spread from Bengal to Hyderabad? Warangal was the epicenter of the Naxal movement in Telangana. So how did it come to Warangal? What happened during the 1970s and 80s? The various incidents, Raitu Kuli Sangams, Jagatyala Jaitra Yatra. We are going to discuss all that. Along with all this, we also should know the various organizations formed on the left-wing ideology, the various books that were published, that leaders, important leaders and their contribution. So all this will be discussed under Naxalism. And the last part will be the first part of your syllabus, that is the socio-cultural features of Telangana. Basically in this they have talked about the social, cultural, economic, political features of Telangana. The syllabus mentions castes, folklore and all that. This is a part of Telangana culture, but I'm also going to cover to the extent that is given in your syllabus here. Now before I move on to your syllabus, I would just like to tell you how I'm going to conduct this. What I'm going to do is, once I finish a particular topic, the test will be available for you. I would request you to resolve the questions that are given in the test. I'm going to discuss those questions in a video and then continue with you'll find the continuation of the syllabus in the subsequent videos. I believe that for a competitive exam, it is very important that you read, then you revise, you practice. It is very, very important that you practice. Practice is a form of recollection, and these questions have been made by me. I have created all these questions on the basis of your syllabus. I have included assertion and reason questions. I have included matching questions. There will be statement based questions like the civils A, B, C, D and all that, statement based. And I have included very few simple straight questions. All these types of questions will be there. Topic wise, if you finish a topic, if you finish listening to our topics classes, immediately you go to the questions, solve the questions, listen to the explanation video. It will get imbibed in your mind. It will be easy. Your syllabus will flow in a structure. It will be very easy for you to recollect. So I suggest that you please go through the questions topic wise. Don't wait till you finish the entire syllabus, and the questions will be of a very good standard. This will help you to prepare for any kind of exam, any exam, any standard in the exam. So what I'm going to do is, for the first, to start off with, this would be one test, this would be the second test, this would be the third test, this would be the fourth test. 1969 agitation, I usually divide it into two tests because it is very lengthy. The 1972 to 73 Jayandra movement will have one test. This would be one test. This would be one test. In fact, I combine these two because in this LPG reforms you don't have a lot of facts. This would be one test, and the entire last phase we will have a test, two tests, and Naxalism will be one test and Telangana culture will be one test. So these are the number of tests. If I'm not wrong, you'll have nearly 15 sectional tests in the with the entire throughout the entire syllabus. So please go through the topic wise tests. They are important for you. That will help you to understand how much you have followed, how much you are able to recollect, and where you have to improve. Now let's get into the syllabus. Since I told you the chronological order, what I'm going to do is I'm going to discuss the syllabus as it is given in your syllabus, and I'll explain how I have, I'll try to correlate my chronological order with the syllabus. Now what I told you that I'm going to discuss towards the end was this part. I'm going to basically discuss this towards the end in culture. It says Telangana as a distinctive cultural unit in Hyderabad princely states. its geographical, cultural, social, political, and economic features. So we have to discuss the geographical aspect, cultural aspect, social, political, and economic features. We are going to discuss about the revenue systems. We are going to discuss about the livelihood of people, the political structure of Telangana, Hyderabad state, the social composition, the various castes, subcastes, and all that. Culture, we talk about the folklore, we talk about the various jataras, festivals that were celebrated. Geographical, what were the divisions in Telangana, in Hyderabad state, and all that. So this would come towards the end. I would start my classes on administration in Hyderabad princely states, administrative reforms of Salajang 1, and origins of the Mulkey non-Mulkey issue. Now remember, the Telangana movement is not really directly concerned with the administrative reforms undertaken by Salajang 1. They would predominantly come in the history part of your syllabus. However, the reason for these administrative reforms and the manner in which Salajang 1 implemented these administrative reforms paved way for the Telangana agitation, paved way for the Mulkey non-Mulkey issue. That is where the connect begins. So we are going to start with the origin. As I said, I am going to divide the Nizam part into three phases. The first one will be the Salajang 1 reforms. 1919 Farmana was actually issued by the 7th Nizam. Then we are going to discuss about Nizam Subjects League, a very important organization that was formed during the 7th Nizam rule. And we are going to discuss about the merger of Hyderabad state into Indian Union. This will again come in Telangana history, but I would include that here because it is majorly mentioned. Then we are going to discuss about the employment policies under military rule. The developments, you remember I told you that we are going to discuss the developments that took place during the military rule, the awardee rule, and how did this pave way to the, how did this affect the Mulkey issue. Then the next part is formation of popular ministry. This is the 1952 elections that I spoke about. From here on, it is about the 1952 agitation, the City College incident, Justice Jagan Mohan Reddy report. Till here, it is the 1952 agitation. So from here till here, it is the 1952 agitation. This is the 1952 elections part. From here on, we discuss about the various incidents that took place from between 1953 and 1956. So this is how we are going to discuss this part. Then the next part would be Gentleman's Agreement. Its provisions and recommendations, Telangana Regional Committee composition and functions. So basically, formation of Andhra Pradesh 1956. This is about the formation of Andhra Pradesh and the impact of how Gentleman's Agreement was violated. That part we are going to discuss. Now if you see, you have 1970s here. See, there is a lot of, the syllabus is not really organized in a chronological order. So going strictly by the syllabus would be a little difficult when we are teaching. That is the reason I would prefer reducing putting it in a chronological order and then discussing it with you all. Then we talk about the violation of employment, and this is also the 1969 agitation. This is the Telangana Praja Samiti was associated with the 1969 agitation. So all this would come under the 1969 agitation. Now this is the mobilization phase where we basically talk about the Jayandhra movement, followed by the Naxalism. Naxalite movement is the 7th unit, but I am going to take it towards the end once I finish the chronological order. Then this is about the rise of regional parties. It is about the rule between 1970s to 1990s. Here we have to know about the impact. If you see this, real estate contracts, finance companies, film, media, entertainment industry, how was it affected? Then we have to discuss the liberalization and privatization policies, the LPG reforms and its impact on Telangana region. Then quest for Telangana identity. This is about the awareness period 1980 to 2000, how awareness was created, who created the awareness. The same thing will continue in the next unit. This is also about the developments between 1980 to 2000. To be more precise, the decade of 1990 to 2000. From here onward, this is the 12th chapter in your syllabus, the second chapter in the third phase towards formation of Telangana state. This part is basically about the formation of TRS, the 2004-9 elections, and then we talk about the role of different political parties, what contributions have they made for the formation of Telangana. Then we talk about the artists, journalists, all this is facts. There will be a lot of questions on this. Wherever required, apart from the notes I'm going to dictate, I'm also going to ensure that you get a few handouts where you have all these facts covered. Remember, Telangana formation is a subject where you have to do a lot of mugging up because there are a lot of facts. So I'm going to help you to remember these facts. I'm going to tell you how to approach as and when I discuss a particular area. Okay, then we are going to, this is a continuity of the chronological order. Now what I do is I first finish with 2009 1 to 2014 chronological order. After the chronology is completed, I am going to then start with the contributions of different sections of society towards the formation of Telangana state, like the political parties and all that. So this is the end of your syllabus. This is how we are going to approach Telangana movement and state formation. There will be nearly around, I would require around 80 hours to complete the whole syllabus comprehensively. I'm going to teach in as detail as possible because group 2, it is 150 marks and it's going to play a major role in your selection. Please ensure from your end that you take down the notes that is being given, refer to the handouts that will be shared and the tests as well, so that you comprehensively cover the entire syllabus and you get the maximum possible marks. I have referred varied sources in preparing on this subject, so you can be rest assured about what is being delivered. So I hope you guys would view the classes and avail the benefit of it. Thank you.